Hello my friend, welcome to my chef Zip. In this video we are gonna do two interesting things. First, we will loop over an array backwards, and then second, we will also create a loop inside another loop. So let's have some more fun with arrays now. And so let's get back our array again. So I will copy our Faisal array. Where is it? This one. And so now, as I said in the beginning of this video, let's now loop over this array backwards. So the first element that we want to print is this one, true. Okay? Then this, after this, etc., etc. And finally, we put Faisal. So essentially, in the last video, we looped from the beginning. So we start with index 0. Then 1 all the way to 4, right? So I will just right here, I will delete this one. I will just keep 5 elements. So in the first one, we loop from 0, 1 until 4. Okay? But now we want to start at 4. Then we go to the 3 and all the way to 0. So 4, 3 until 0. So which gonna be the last index? So this one is 4 and this one is 0. And so now we need to create the for loop according to this new information. So basically according to this new methodology. So let's start again with the counter. And then we name it A again. But now what should be the initial value of this counter? And we already replied to that question kind of. So it should be 4, but should we just write the 4 here? No, we shouldn't, right? Because we already learned that hard-coded value like this are not a good idea. So what is 4? 4 is basically just the length of the array, which is 5 minus 1. Okay, so that's exactly what we will write here. So Faisal dot length minus 1. Then the condition, and then we want the loop to stop. Well, it should stop after the 0. And so the condition we need to write now, remember, is telling JavaScript in which condition the loop should keep running. And so basically, the loop should keep running as long as the counter is still above 0. So I should be greater or equal to actual 0. Okay? So let's quickly simulate that. So at number 4, which is in the beginning, E is greater equal 0, right? So this condition will be true. And so the next iteration we run. Then we need to decrease the index of the counter. And so let's actually do that as well. And so instead of using E++, which we used before the increment, the value we use E minus minus, to decrement or to decrease the value by 1. And so now we move from 4 to 3, and 3 of course still is greater or equal to 0, and all the way to 0. And so 0 is still greater equals 0. Then the counter gets updated again, and it will be updated to minus 1. And now minus 1 is not greater or equal 0, so this is false, and so the loop will stop. Okay? So I hope that this was not hard, really. All we have to do is to think when we create this 3 part here of the for loop, and I hope that you could follow me, my train of truth here. No, anyway, the rest of course is gonna work just exactly the same. So here I will just put console.log of Faisal of E. The same thing here. So we are getting again the current element. So let's check that very quickly. And so indeed, this works just as we intend it. We start with number 4, just as we have it here. And then we move to 3, 2, 1, and 0. And if we now add one element, for example, I added true here. Okay? Then for sure this is gonna work just the same, because now Faisal length is 6 and -1 is 5, and so it will start here at true. Okay? Alright. Now, you will probably not be doing this all the time in your own code, but I thought that this was a nice exercise. So we could again think about how to define the counter, the condition, and the counter update. Okay? So that was the first part of this video. And now I want to show you how we can create a loop inside of a loop. So does that sound crazy? Well, it is not so crazy, and it is not difficult either. And to do this, let's go back to our gym example from the first loop video. So there we had 10 repetition for a certain weightlifting exercise, remember? But now let's say that we have 3 different exercises, and we want to repeat each of them 5 times. So that means a total of 15 repetition, 5 for each of the 3 exercises. So to log all this exercise, we need a loop inside a loop. So let's roll up our sleeve and get to work here. And we are gonna start with the 3 exercises. And so let's create our for loop for let exercise. Okay, exercise, sorry. And we start at 1. Okay, again, because we simply want to log exercise 1, 2, and 3. So our condition here is that the exercise should be less or equal to 3. Okay, less or equal to 3. And actually this will be actually the same as writing exercise below 4. Same thing. So you can do whatever you prefer most, and I think it will actually stick with this one this time. And then we need to increase the exercise after each iteration, of course. So exercise plus plus. Okay? So now let's look to the console something like this, and I will use that counter variable. So console.log backsticks, and here starting exercise, and here variable exercise, something like this. So let's check this one very quick, and we have our exercise. Nothing is new at this moment. Okay. And so now again we need to create a loop inside the loop, so that in each exercise we can have the 5 repetition that we want, and the repetition themselves are a loop, right? And so that's why we need that loop inside of this loop. So let's do that. And this is gonna be basically the same as we did earlier. So let's again call it rep. Oops. I will start another loop here, and here we start the repetition. Let rep start from 1. So remember, how I said that we want 5 repetition this time. And so let's say we want to stay below 6. Okay? So again, that will be exactly the same as writing less or equal 5. But let's keep it a bit different this time and say below 6. And then after this we do plus plus. Okay? And now we will log lifting weight repetition. So console.log, and I backsticks, and here I write lifting weight repetition. Okay, and here I put the number of repetition. It is rep. Good. Now let's test this now. And so what do you expect to see? Think about that before you load your own result, or before I load here the result. Let's just think some second. Let's see. Do you see? Is this what you expected? Alright. So we start exercise number 1, which is what we have here, and then inside of this iteration of exercise 1, a new loop is created and executed. And so that's what then creates this lifting weight repetition from 1 to 5. Alright. Then this loop here is finished, right? So it ran all the 5 times, that then this first iteration is finished. And so the exercise loop, so this outer loop here goes to its second iteration. And so we are at exercise number 2, and then this whole loop here we run again from 1 to 5. So that's this 5 here, and then that loop again finished. Okay? And then the exercise iteration finished, and we go to the iteration number 3. So exercise now number 3 and turn the whole repetition loop. Okay? So this is this inner loop here, we run 5 times again. And with that we end up with a total of basically 15 repetition, just as I said in the beginning, so 3 times 5. Okay? And we could even include the number of the current exercise in the string that we are printing here, so that stood as well, something like this, exercise, and here I will add exercise, just like this. So this is the variable that we get from the outer loop, and so this variable here is of course available inside this whole loop. And that does include all the inner code, even this inner loop. And so that's why we can access this variable here as well. And so now we should see exercise 1 printed for this 5, then exercise 2 printed for this 5, and exercise 3 for the last one. Okay, so I will load now. It's beautiful. Do you see? We have exercise 1, lifting, 5 repetition, 2, 3, etc., etc. Alright, I think this way is very fun exercise, and again, even though you may not use this all the time, in the real world, I still think that this was a pretty cool example to show you some more power of loops. And now to wrap up this section, all there is left to learn is another type of loop, which is the while loop, but it is for the next video, inshallah. So see you in the next video, inshallah, to finish all this section about JavaScript fundamental with the while loop before to start a new chapter or new section. So I hope that you understand how to use loop inside the loop. You must always practice, do more exercise to learn it very well, very quick. But do it slowly. Don't, as I said always, don't be do it very quick. So I need to learn very quick to do exercise, but not do exercise very quick. Okay, it's difference between them. when you practice a lot of time, you will learn very quick. But don't code very quick. Okay, it is not the same thing. So see you in this video, inshallah, to finish this section with the while loop. I tell you goodbye. Wassalamu alaikum wa barakatuh.